What's poppin', guys? Sizzle here, and today we're taking a look at the M4A1-S skins in CS to figure out what the best skin is. So first off, we have stock, very clean silencer, pretty decently clean skin, but it does have a lot of wear and tear in the back, so it's not like absurdly clean. Pretty decent stock skin as far as things go, though. I'd say it's definitely high D tier, low C tier type of skin. And for that exact reason, that's exactly where I'm going to be putting it, high D tier. Alright, because there's a lot of good M4 skins out there. Then next up, we have the Boreal Forest. It's your classic camo skin, super clean camo skin, there's not a lot of scratches or tears. If you like camo skins, you like this. I never like camo skins, so for me it's always a low D tier. But, you know, it's just how all these videos go. Then next up, we have the P2000 Moss Quartz. Skin I've never heard of in my life. Never seen in game either. It's from the Norse collection, so it's probably just using a lot of trade-ups, which is why I probably never see it. But yeah, it's basically just a dark green M4. I mean, it has a design to it. It's supposed to have a real design. It's supposed to be a little bit shiny or whatever, but it really just ends up looking like a dark greenish gray M4 skin. Honestly, just like marginally better than stock, if even. It kind of just depends if you like the color, honestly. So just a D tier for me. Then next up, we have the M4A1-S Very Camo. Sand camo skin. I prefer sand camo to normal camo, but I still don't like camo skins. This goes pretty easily right above the Boreal Forest in D tier. Then next up, we have the M4A1-S Fizzy Pop. This is a pattern-based skin. You can actually get a pretty cool, it's like the Op Boom, where you can get, I think it's just pop right across the center of the skin here if you get the right pattern. If you don't get the right pattern, it's a relatively bright skin with a pretty confusing set of designs. But when you do have that super clean middle pattern, this becomes a pretty solid skin to the point where I'd say it's probably B or A tier. But without that, with just the brightness of the skin or whatever, it's like slightly better than stock and maybe just a low C tier, like really low C tier. Then we have the M4A1-S Blood Tiger. If it wants to open in game, there we go. This is actually the one I'm using right now because I have a King of the Field sticker on mine or whatever. But yeah, this is just a really dark skin with a lot of like, you know, red blood on it. Not really a great color of blood either. It's just kind of there. I have this skin purely because of the stickers I have on it and nothing else. It's honestly just around the same as stock. It's kind of just a really dark skin. Like, there's no camo behind this one, which is a nice thing, because all the other Blood Tigers have a camo in the background. This is just kind of a gray set of like stripes with a little bit of random red stripes over to the top of it. So it's just like either marginally better or worse than stock, depending on, you know, if you like the color red, I guess. So for me, it's a D tier. Then next up, we have the M4A1-S Briefing, which, yeah, it's got some pretty solid colors. Actually, it's a really cool design, especially this pattern. I think this is a pattern-based skin, but you can actually see, you know, B bomb sight and A bomb sight both on the same skin. Kind of see, I guess those are mountains, what they're supposed to show, like with the many different layers or whatever. And just really solid colors on this one, right? Nice color of like orange or red. I know it's the same one on the Cyrex, but it goes better with the other colors on here than it does with the Cyrex. But yeah, it's decent. It's a decent C tier, just run-of-the-mill, average-looking skin. Decent colors, nice design. I guess it might be pattern-based, that's the one thing. Then we have the M4A1-S Nitro. I actually got this one as an in-game drop. They almost never look this clean from my memory. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I mean, just basically stock, but with nice orange parts in between. It's a straight upgrade to stock, but not by too much. Yeah, and that's all there's to say about it. It's a decent skin. Probably a high D tier. Probably high D tier. It's decent. I like the color orange on here, but there's just not a lot of it, and for the most part, it looks like just a slightly cleaner stock. Then we have the M4A1-S Icarus Fell. I absolutely love this skin. I'm never gonna own it because this is like right under, well, this is 2 under trading up for the, you know, Dragon Lore, so it's mega expensive at all times. But yeah, beautiful colors of blue and black kind of splotched around. Reminds me of like a glow-in-the-dark room. I don't know if you guys ever did like I went to this one place was like glow in the dark mini golf or something like that, and this reminds me a lot of that. Kind of where you see all the glowing lights in the dark, and then the rest of it's all super dark. It really sticks out in the right places. Like on the front here, if there weren't all these stickers, you'd see this cool like design here, and the color's just beautiful. The pattern is great. I'd say it's a solid B tier skin. Then next up we have the M4A1-S Dark Water, which, yeah, it's a shiny camo skin. There's better shiny M4 skins, so I'm putting this in F tier just for that. You'll see him later. just trust me on that. If I'm wrong with that, which maybe I am, not the best memory, then it's gonna be probably a D tier. But yeah. Then we have the M4A1-S Bright Water. Really dull. It uses bright colors but looks super dull as a camo skin. Plus, there's a bunch of wear and tear. I just wouldn't use this, honestly. It looks awful. There's a lot of nice bright M4 skins out there, and this is just not a good one. Then we have the M4A1-S Basilisk. This is the other, I guess this isn't as shiny as the Dark Water whatever, but it looks a lot cleaner. It's like a metallic M4 with a really cool looking dragon design that normally isn't covered by this massive sticker. It's a nice looking thing. I think I used one for a bit myself. It just looks nice. There's a lot of metallic skins in the game. This is definitely a solid addition to that collection. I'd say it's definitely a high C tier for me. Then next up, we have the M4A1-S Flashback. Similar to the other Flashback, which I think is for the USPS. This one's just a nice looking camo skin with a bunch of actual, like, you know, more realistic looking graffiti on it. I think it even has the same exact stuff. Yeah, 6769, Make Love Not War, you know, Get Some, Sneaky Beaky. It has all the same references as the actual USPS Flashback. So it's, I don't know, it's a really good camo skin. If you like camo skins, you'll love this. I'm not the biggest fan of camo skins, but I still can actually respect this one a lot more. I'd say it's definitely a solid C tier for me. It could be a lot higher for other people, though. Then we have the M4A1-S Night Terror. This one's pretty infamous for once the wear gets actually worse on this one, it starts turning like a pinkish purple. When it looks like this, it's just an okay skin. Basically just like a mostly, it's like an slight upgrade to stock, but with a lot of like blood writing and like this, you know, like girl under woman on it that's supposed to look like horror, like, which they kind of do. They fit the vibe pretty well. When you get this in a worse condition, the rest of the skin turns more of like a purplish color, which makes kind of the kind of fear factor, like, you know, the night terror, work a bit more. And also, I think the color looks a lot nicer. When you have this in Battle Scarred, it is super nice. When you don't, it's still definitely very solid C tier. I'd say this is probably the best thing we've seen so far. I'm gonna put it in a high B tier position if I can find it, which might be kind of hard with how small these designs are. I think it's this one though. So I'm going to put it as a high B tier. Then we have the M4A1-S Knight, really infamous for being the skin that trades up into the Dragon lore. As for the actual design, I mean, it's pretty much just a gray version of stock, but with a little bit of gold on the front and back. And I guess there's a design here, whatever, but you really don't look at that. You just see like this gold tip when you're in game right before the suppressor. It's kind of clean, but that's really all it is. Probably a low C tier, if I do say so myself. And next up, we have the M4A1-S Masterpiece. People really love this one for a while, but I couldn't tell you why. The colors blue on here are not that great, especially when compared to stuff like the Icarus Fell, and I have no fucking clue what this says in the middle. I think someone read it off one time, but I have no clue what it says just looking at it. Even right now, trying to look as close as I can, I have no clue what it's saying. The rest of it's just stock. I mean, you have stock here, you have stock on the bottom, you have stock in the back. It's like almost splashed on. Yeah, I mean, it just looks okay. I'd say it's probably just like a D tier, debatably worse than stock in my opinion. Is that great? Yeah, pretty low D tier for me. Then we have the M4A1-S Hot Rod, notoriously super clean skin, and yeah, it just is. Beautiful color of red, beautiful shine to it. Red in all the places that really matter, right? You look at the silencer, and then you look at the main body, and that's what is red. And the rest of the stock part work well with the red. This goes well with a lot of different sticker crafts too, so it's great for that. But this skin is just super clean, super beautiful, definitely a high S tier. It's a great skin. Then we have the M4A1-S control panel. It's like an HD M4 with a bit of light blue in it, which is nice. I think it's a nice color light blue to use, and the rest of the skin looks pretty nice, pretty clean. Not clean, just pretty, I don't know, good looking. I use the word clean too much in these videos, but yeah, it's a nice looking skin. A lot of intricate details on here and whatever. And yeah, it just looks good. Very solid skin, very solid C tier. Probably a high C tier above everything else in there for now. Then we have the M4A1-S Blue Phosphor, not Phosphorus. And this is basically the hot rod, but with a phenomenal color of blue and a nice design. I don't know what this pattern is called. I think it's like the same thing they use in like the ruby and the sapphire, which the hot rod didn't have, and this does have. And that little pattern change and the change of colors makes this look about 80 times better than the hot rod. So I'm actually going to readjust the tier list and put the Phosphor in S tier and the hot rod in A tier, even though I still love the hot rod. It's still an amazing skin. The Phosphor is just so fucking high above everything else right now. It's insane. Super clean, amazing colors, and just in all the right places, it looks great. Then we have the M4A1-S Guardian. It's basically just a very simple redesign of the main weapon to have like a jeans look with a nice little CT logo. It's pretty simple, pretty nice, just okay. Definitely not as great as the stuff we've been seeing recently with the hot rod and the phosphor, but I'd say it's probably under the basilisk in C tier. And next up we have the M4A1-S Atomic Alloy. I remember these being super scratch for the most part. I think this one just doesn't have scratches because it's a super decent wear. But yeah, it's a nice orange skin, orange across the board. This is like the Nitro, but like inverted because it's just like orange in a lot more than the like default black. This doesn't even have the default black. It has like a brownish orange as the main weapon with a bit of a design to it, but they don't really see. But it has a great color orange. It shines well in game from my memory, and it looks pretty decent. I'd say it's definitely a high C tier. I can't really put it in B tier with the stuff up there because that stuff is just miles above what's in C tier. And then next up, we have the M4A1-S Decimator. A lot of people really like this color scheme and like the vaporwave aesthetic, and that's what you're pretty much getting it for. If you don't like that as much, you probably aren't gonna like this skin. But it's got the vaporwave colors of like the blue and pink that just look really nice, and it has this vaporwave pattern around the edges that a lot of those people seem to like. I'm not too sure about the gray. I don't think that has anything to do with anything. I think it detracts a bit from the cleanliness of the skin. Still a decent skin though, still nice colors, but I'm not the biggest vaporwave guy myself, so for me it's kind of still just a C tier skin. Then next up we have the M4A1-S Leaded Glass. I had one of these for a bit. I could not tell you why. It's got decent design, like a Picasso looking design with some decent colors. It's just okay. It's kind of the same thing with the Decimator, except it's a bit cleaner in my opinion. Maybe I'm a bit biased though. But yeah, it's just another C tier. Can't really compete with the Icarus Fell. Then next up, we have the M4A1-S Nightmare, which can compete with the Icarus Fell, and in fact, I'd say kind of blows it out of the water. Now, the Icarus Fell is still amazing and has its own merit of having kind of better colors of blue, but the big problem with the Icarus Fell is the kind of lack of design, right? There's not really like any design to it. It's just kind of nice colors in all the right places. This one is almost as nice colors in all the right places, but with an actual design behind it. It has like this little skeleton horse demon thing in the middle with, you know, its two eyes kind of glowing out. Beautiful colors, and you have like the crystals in the front and back of the skin because I guess it's like in a cave somewhere or whatever. It's basically just an upgrade Icarus Fell though. And for that reason it's a high B tier. Then we have the M4A1-S Welcome to the Jungle, a super pricey skin because there's like 7 of them. The thing is, yeah, it's good. This one is unfortunately just really rare because it's like the only good skin in its collection, and the collections it was competing with to, you know, come to existence with had a lot of good skins. But yeah, this one is great. The colors on it are amazing. You have this nice central snake, like kind of going along the main part of the weapon. You have these cool, like, ancient designs on the bottom here and in the front here, and just beautiful colors across the whole skin. The blue on like this part and the back here and around the handle kind of just contrasts the rest of the skin in a nice way that I think looks good. It has a really nice color scheme overall, and a really solid design. There's not really a lot like this that I can think of that actually looks this good, nor can I explain why this looks so good to me, but I do really like the look of the Welcome to the Jungle. I think it's a low A tier for me personally. Then we have the M4A1-S Imminent Danger, which I think is the basically for the next operation after that last M4. This was also a super rare one. Vertigo collection did not have a lot of good stuff, and this is part of the reason. This was a pretty this is okay for like a blue or a purple skin, but I don't think this should have been greenlit as the red skin for this collection. It's pretty cool. You have a bunch of, it's almost like a graffiti-like skin, but with safety instead of the usual messages graffiti has. I don't know what this guy with the top hat's doing there, but it's a cool little detail. Bunch of really cool colors, and it kind of mashes together super well, like a lot of graffiti tends to. And I don't know. I like the the cross on the front there. I think looks kind of nice, and the rest of the thing looks pretty decent. The danger being front and center is also really good detail to have, and I just like how there's so many colors, but they somehow come together really well. I think this is still a really decent skin, but honestly, like as a purple or something, um, I think it does bridge the gap as a low B tier though. I think it is better than everything in C tier, but it's definitely not as good as the Icarus Fell, but I can't really justify moving anything from B tier to A tier with those skins. That's where it's gonna belong. Then we have the M4A1-S Cyrex. Pretty clean, pretty simple. Not the best color red, not the best color black either, but decent, color white. And okay design. It's decent. It's nothing crazy. It's okay. It's decently clean. Probably above the Basilisk in C tier. Then next up we have the M4A1-S Hyper Beast. This one is great. I always love Hyper Beasts, and this one does a phenomenal job being a Hyper Beast. It's like the only Hyper Beast I can remember where you can actually see the eye, because it actually makes sense to be there on this weapon. But the mouth works perfectly well on the mag and the handle here, and like the little horn thing goes really cool along the front of this. And then they have like a little crack suppressor saying Beast on it, which I think is a really nice attention to detail. Basically, this one has great colors, phenomenal design. I always love how Hyper Beasts look. And it's just a really well-designed skin with good colors. Probably honestly above the Nightmare because it has such a nice variety of colors. Then we have the M4A1-S Golden Coil. Very simple, golden-ish M4A1-S. It's not super gold like a lot of the other golden skins, like that Golden FAMAS we looked at, or the Gold Arabesque for the AK. But it still has a decent amount of gold on it, and it ends up looking pretty nice. And this Golden Coil, thought it said Golden Koi, honestly, for the longest time, which makes a lot of sense because, like, they have a scaly suppressor and the main weapon super scaly and stuff, and I guess the one part that wouldn't make sense is the dragon come out the middle. I'm not sure how that relates to a Golden Coil. But yeah, this weapon, I mean, it's just a solid gold weapon. You can't really complain with this one. It's definitely one of the better skins out there. I'm gonna put it in A tier just because I love the golden colors so much, even though it realistically probably shouldn't be this high, especially compared to a lot of the stuff in B tier. That's my personal opinion. Anyway, next up we have the M4A1-S Chantico's Fire. Very interesting name. And it's a very yellowish heavy, like a bleached yellow across the entire weapon type of skin. It's super bright, probably one of the brightest skins in the game, just in the way it's designed. It's not actually really bright along most of the skin, but they have the bright parts all over the place and super dominant in all the right places. It almost tricks your eyes into thinking this is brighter than it kind of should be. And then yeah, it has some decent design otherwise, but it's mainly just a super bright, like yellowish skin. I think just for that uniqueness, I can give it a lot of credit. Probably put it top of C tier, but I don't think it belongs with the other stuff in B tier. Then we have the M4A1-S Mecha Industries. Very kind of mid choice of, it's like a dusty white for the most part, and then black on the rest. It's okay. It's not really super clean. There's a lot of designs going on here that kind of ruin any cleanliness this might have had. And the color choice is not phenomenal, but it's still okay. I think it's kind of run-of-the-mill C tier, probably below the Cyrex and Basilisk and even Guardian, because it really just is not that clean. Then we have the M4A1-S Player 2, which is interesting. You have this little kind of old anime character in the dead center, and then some little cat thing here. and then otherwise there's a bunch of random stuff, other than I guess I Heart skins and Vanguard, because I think that was the operation this was made for or something. But yeah, you're basically getting this if you like the little artwork of this, you know, like old anime CT guy in the middle. If you don't like the design of this guy, you're not gonna like the skin. If you do like him, you'll love this skin. And then otherwise the colors are pretty solid, the design's pretty solid, and your whole central focus is really on this guy, and the rest of the skin just looks okay. I do like, though, something to point out, is that the front of the weapon has just a little bit of a really bright color. I love when skins do this. A lot of skins benefit from having just a front part that kind of, like, goes away as you go toward the back, because it draws your attention to the suppressor, because it looks so kind of out of place, which is a good thing, I feel, on a lot of weapon skins. So I do like that it does that, but otherwise, I mean, this is basically, do you like the artwork in the middle? And for me personally, it's okay. I think it's okay. It's a solid, probably C tier for me. And then our final skin in this collection is the one that probably a lot of people have been waiting for, the M4A1-S print stream. Probably the cleanest, one of the cleanest skins in all of CS, especially for the M4. It has this cool little hollow-ish effect on these little stripes down here, which is just a small little thing, and otherwise it's just a really clean white and black. It has a bit of design here and there, but on the whole it looks super clean. And then the XX in the heart is just a staple of the print stream that ends up looking pretty nice as well. This skin is just basically, it has like the cleanliness of a tuxedo, but it has the designs in all the right places that somehow make this look almost more clean than a skin that is unironically just like one solid color. It's beautiful, man. This is probably my favorite M4A1-S skin. Unfortunately, all the M4A1-S skins are super pricey because it's one of the most used weapons. But yeah, that's it for the M4A1-S. Hope you guys enjoyed looking at these skins as much as I did. Comment below, you know, anything you want to complain about or like disagree with me on, because I left a lot of room here for disagreement. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.